Hey everybody, welcome to the program. I have a very special guest. This is singer-songwriter, YouTube extraordinaire, Trevor Douglas.
Oh, extraordinaire. All right.
Thank you for being on the program.
No, of course, man.
And today we're going to be talking about Daft Punk's seminal 2001 album, Discovery. And fitting enough, this was a discovery for me because I had never heard this album before. No. So thank you for bringing this as a possibility for us to pick.
No, of course.
Yeah.
My sister is the one who got me into Daft Punk. I don't even know how she knows about them. I got more into them when Tron came out because, you know, they did the soundtrack. I love the movie.
Yeah.
Apparently didn't do well enough for a sequel.
So this actually started in 1998. They started recording, and they recorded this all in their home studio in Paris. It took about 2 years to get it all finished, and I would imagine, you know, there's a year of mastering and putting all the album art together. 98. 98, well, there you go. So you guys are kinship right there.
I have a connection with this album.
I was somewhat aware of this album because of the music videos, which were taken from the anime Interstellar 5555, which they actually helped produce, or they in some way got it commissioned, but basically it's a feature-length anime, and it's set to this album's music.
Wow, so, you did much more research. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Well, it was interesting because I remember being, I was...
That does sound familiar, though.
Actually, I was about your age when this came out, and I remember seeing the music videos, and I thought that anime was really old. I still haven't seen this film. I'm really intrigued to see it now.
Now I feel like I have to watch it.
But every music video was cut using scenes from that. And there's a track on here, Crescendals, and that is the name of the band that's in the movie, and apparently they get abducted. But anyway, I remember seeing these music videos, and I was very intrigued by this band. I knew of Around the World.
That's not. I don't think that's on this.
And I think it was The Funk.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember those two music videos. I was intrigued by them, and then this one came out, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And what I didn't realize is like how much I feel like this album really shaped the early mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, a lot of people used Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger.
Well, Kanye West.
Yeah, Kanye is the most notable one, but I know there's others. I don't remember them.
So what do you think of the cover here?
I think it says pretty much everything it needs to. Do you know anything about how they made it?
No, I don't. I would imagine it was probably a Photoshop thing. You know, vinyl's fun. It's something I always grew up with. I always like just the bit. I mean, granted, I have a bunch of fingerprints on this, but yeah, I mean, look at that.
That is really cool. I would love a Daft Punk helmet. Like when I get rich, the two things I'm going to get are a Daft Punk helmet and a DeLorean.
Now, which helmet are you gonna get?
I think that one. I think that's the cooler one.
I think I like this one more.
Oh, well then we'd be perfect.
Yeah,
we'd be perfect. I can get one. Yeah. You can get the other one.
I actually got to see their costume from the Grammy Awards, I think.
Oh, that's sweet.
I think it was when they performed with Kanye, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that hadn't happened.
Yeah, because, you know, he sampled them, and then so they actually came on, I think this was 98. Or not 98, sorry, 2008.
Okay.
And this is interesting, too, on the other...
Oh, the color.
Yeah, I really like this packaging. It's very sharp. Now, do you have a favorite song off of here?
Oh, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. Aerodynamic's good too. Those are the most epic songs to me. Digital Love is up there as well, though.
Digital Love is fantastic.
Last night, I had a dream about you. In this dream, I'm dancing right beside you. And it looked...
I actually really liked Night Vision. Something About Us.
But there's something about us I've got to do. Some kind of secret I will share with you.
And I'm gonna say this wrong, but Veridis Huo?
It's probably French.
It's so juxtaposed because it has a very classical feel to it.
Okay.
Almost like a harpsichord type thing, but it's juxtaposed with like electronic music. And I really like the balance of that song in particular. But I gotta say though, Too Long, it's probably my least favorite song on here.
Can you feel it? Too long, can you feel it?
I try to listen to everything. So I use a loop pedal for a lot of my music. So like if anybody does not know what a loop pedal is, it's like a sampler and I play into it. Like if I was just to go into the pedal, it would just go over and over and over.
Right.
And then I can play guitar into it. And then I can say a word and just go word, word.
So
but it just
you're
loops
layering these recordings.
And Daft Punk does a lot of that to a different extent, more electronically.
Right.
But
I mean,
like the song, it's not on this album, but Around the World. Around the world, around, over and over and over.
I know.
So it's a lot of like, oh, what do they do to make the repetition not boring? So I'll study it for that sense.
Okay.
If that makes any sense, to that win.
Yeah, you go into it different than a typical listener. You're actually curious how it's constructed and so much.
Yeah, like how is it not boring? So like, what can I add? How can I make things different so that it doesn't get too repetitive?
What's interesting too is you brought up the use in your own work of samples.
Yeah.
And this album would, on first pass, you think, gosh, they use so many samples. But in reality, they only used 4.
What do you mean?
They only used 4
wait.
songs. They actually list them here. Contains a sample from Cola Bottle Baby by Edwin Birdsong for Harder, Faster.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
And then you have George Duke, I Love You More on Digital Love.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know they used samples on this. I just knew that it was repetitive.
And then we have The Imperials with Chris Sendall's. And Barry Manilow on Superheroes. You have those samples, and the rest of the album is, they call it kind of fake samples.
It's amazing what you'll find face to face.
Like they actually made their own,
Oh, that's really impressive.
or they like were inspired by other samples and then recorded themselves doing it.
One more time, got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate and dance so free. One more time.
Listening to this now, it's about 15 years old.
Wow.
Which is weird to think about, right?
Yeah.
2001. And let's just say you were 3 when this album came out. Is that
I was?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
yikes.
so. I did the math.
I don't know.
You know, I think about when I was 3, it was 1985. That music, listening to it when I was 18 sounded really dated. So does this sound dated to you?
Not at all.
Isn't that interesting? Now, what does that say? Does that say we're stagnant in terms of music? Or were they just so far ahead of their time?
That's a great question. This does not sound dated. That's really blowing my mind right now. Also, this isn't pop, too. I feel like most pop does get
No,
like,
that's a
times
very
like
good
that.
point. I will argue that it's more poppy than their debut.
Like, I don't think this would have been on the radio. Would this have been on the radio? Or I don't know if radio is different now than it was then. I mean, their new stuff, definitely.
Like you said, this music isn't really pop. What they put out at that time really didn't fit with anything else. Because you gotta remember, like, what was on the charts, and it was Destiny's Child, Britney Spears, Janet Jackson.
Oh yeah, this is not gonna fit in.
Creed, Stained, Blink-182,
Yeah, maybe
DMX.
it was just ahead. Because now this is kind of where music is.
Yeah. Overall, I have to say that it was very familiar to me because I had heard a lot of the big hits. But the rest of the album was just, it felt so familiar as
Yeah,
well.
it felt like a continuation.
Yeah, and it was very welcoming. It was like coming home in a way.
They do really good. They do a really good job with their whole like album. I want to say having a theme. In
Oh,
a sense.
absolutely.
I have a hard time with that even, like with my music. Like a lot of artists, they'll make sure they do that so that all their sound, like they treat the album as a work of art itself,
Yeah.
not just each song, but each song fitting within one thing.
It could be seen as a conceptual album, like a concept. Like it has,
yeah,
it,
because it fits together so well.
yeah, the order of the songs too, just the way it flows. Especially on vinyl, because it's about 3 songs per side. Like each side has its own character, which I really dug it.
I
First
feel like
way-
I'm missing out. I just listened to it. I listened to it on Spotify.
What's interesting too is that when they made this album, they were trying to harken back to music from the 70s and 80s, like their childhood. But not looking at it through their eyes now, but as they were as children. They wanted to evoke the idea of liking music just to like it and not have all these hang-ups about music. And I think they pulled that off.
I'd say so.
It's very joy-filled. It puts you in a good mood. Even the slower tempo stuff still
Yeah,
has
it's chill though. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like sad.
Exactly.
It's relaxed.
I'm grateful to have this now in my life, definitely.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could bring it up.
Yeah. So I highly suggest picking this album up however you want to get it. This is, I believe, the 2013 pressing, which is kind of your basic pressing. And I know some people on Discogs said there was some noise issue on side 3. I didn't really have that problem on this, so hopefully they fixed it. I will say that the original pressing did come with a little card that told you to go to this website, and you could actually stream music off of this album and their previous album. And this was a full 6 years. I think
What?
6 years before Spotify. It's crazy to think about, but like, yeah, you had to embed things.
Well, they
way
still
more.
also had iTunes then, right? Because I know now things like when you
but-
buy vinyls, they'll come with downloads too.
Yeah, but the
was that
concept
new
of
then?
streaming though, that was such a different
That's true.
thing.
You're not downloading it and keeping it.
Yeah, I think
That
that's
is
really
neat.
cool.
That is really cool. That definitely
Yeah.
is cool.
But no, this one does not come with a digital download.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, but I mean, we have Spotify.
Oh, definitely.
And also, it's like putting the record on. I mean, that's a lot of the fun, you know. Well, thank you very much, Trevor, for being on
No,
the
thank you so
program.
much for having me. This is really, I just love this whole setup. It's just so
Thank you.
awesome.
And your name of your channel is
Trevor Douglas Music.
awesome. Well, go check out his channel. I believe we're gonna have some special things relating to this interview video on his channel, so be sure to do that. And check out his music, because I think it's great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Well, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the album. Until then, I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to head over to Trevor's page when you can. Check out some of his music, and you can check out a song that he recorded in the vinyl pad, as well as extended interview clips. So go ahead, click away.